Good morning, everybody. In today's video, we are going to do two things. Number one, we're going to talk about high volume thrifts. We get the majority of our used shoes from high volume thrifts, and it was a big unlock for us when we are building sourcing trips. So if you have a good understanding of these high volume thrifts, it will hopefully be a big unlock for you as well. And number two, we are going to give you 20 BOLOS, 20 brands that are selling really well for us month after month after month. If we give you these 20 BOLOS, we think that when you go into these high volume thrifts, you'll have a good, solid roadmap to find profitable shoes. Let's dive in. All right, guys, my name is Ryan. My beautiful wife, Lindsay, and I, we go by Rinzy. We are full-time shoe resellers. Welcome to our channel. Today, we're talking about high volume thrifts, and at the end, we're gonna give you those BOLOS. Be on the lookout, these brands that we have been profitable with month after month after month. We are going to use the good old whiteboard to break down how a high volume thrift works. But first, what we mean by high volume thrift is that there's a lot of donations coming in, which means they have to have a lot of sales going out. There's only a certain amount of square footage in each location, and usually these high volume thrifts are chains. So for example, the three high volume thrifts that we source at are Goodwill, Salvation Army, and Savers. Now that's just because we're in the New England area. Those are the most prevalent. You may have other high volume thrifts in your area if you're in other parts of the country. There's certainly dozens and dozens of more examples. But the general idea is to give you an idea of high volume thrifts and how they work. Let's dive to the whiteboard. All right, so as you can see, we're gonna use this square and this T, and that represents the thrift. Now this is any high volume thrift in your area. We source a whole list of them and we build routes around these types of high volume thrifts. But here's exactly what happens. You have all these people in the community that all donate their goods to the thrift. The employees price all the items and then put them into the thrift. But because there's only a certain amount of square footage, the inventory has to be sold because more donations are always coming in. This is why it's important to source at high volume thrifts. They need to move the inventory, and because they need to move the inventory, they do these incremental sales that reduce the price of the items on their shelves. Now we're talking about shoes. So these little lines represent incremental drops in price. Now some high volume thrifts do one massive sale and they'll say, you know, everything is 50% off or everything is 90% off. Maybe they'll do that once a month. Other high volume thrifts will do a color-coded system where a certain color is discounted. Or maybe they'll do two different colors and one color is $1 and one color is 50% off. That's been our experience. But as successful resellers, we want to buy inventory for the lowest possible buy costs. So we want to come in right around this area and buy the highest amount of inventory at the lowest possible buy cost. Now, a quick note, you can make money buying directly from the shelves when they first come out. There's no excuses. You can find wins, profitable shoe inventory when it first comes out on the shelf. But if you want to find quantity, a higher quantity, these high volume thrifts, you want to go on the discount days. That's why we always talk about building sourcing routes and going on the discount days. Now, you might want to jump on Google or give them a call and find out when their discount days are so you can make the most out of your time. And again, imagine a whole sourcing route of dozens of these high volume thrifts. You're going around, you're looking at a large amount of inventory to find the 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 or 15 or 20 pairs in each location that are profitable, that don't need a lot of cleaning, and that accumulates to a higher quantity. Now, it should also be noted that if it goes all the way through and they still have inventory that's around here, a lot of high volume thrifts will liquidate these things to bigger companies that buy truckloads of stuff. Or, for example, Goodwill has what's called buy the pound. So if all their store locations, if the inventory isn't sold after all the discounts, what they'll do is they'll pull it from their shelves and send it to a liquidation center like the bins where they sell it by weight. There's another opportunity for a future video where we will talk about the bins. We built our business in the beginning going to the bins, and you can be highly fruitful. But for today, we're talking about these high volume thrifts. There's donations that are constantly coming in, high volume, high volume. The employees sort through it and price it according to their guidelines. It's put on the shelves, and then it's incrementally reduced. The price is reduced so that they can free up square footage for more inventory coming in. This is why we prefer sourcing at high volume thrifts, is because there's a better opportunity to get more inventory at a lower buy cost. Now, it should be noted, guys, that if you are someone who has said, oh, my local thrifts never have anything good, that's okay. Because we look through thousands and thousands and thousands, and dare I say even tens of thousands of shoes to find roughly 100, 150, 200 profitable pairs every single week. Now, we are full-time resellers. We do this to pay all of our bills and then some. So we build sourcing routes, like we said earlier in the video, that allow us to go to dozens of these types of high-volume thrifts in multiple different states every single week. So you can go that hard at it, you can go at that high level, or you can understand what we're saying here about these high volume thrifts and be super strategic about going to 1, 2, 3, 4. It really depends on what your goals are. We have seen so much success. We only talk about what we do ourselves in these high volume thrifts. Yes, you're gonna have to look through a lot of shoes that you're gonna pass on. Yes, you're gonna run into, we're about to talk about the 20 BOLOS, the 20 brands that are very successful. You're gonna come across some of these brands where the condition doesn't make sense to buy these. We say no to these 20 brands if the condition isn't right. And what we're talking about is no rips or tears, no funky smell. They gotta have their original insoles. It's super, super important. The stricter that you source, it always leads to good things after you spend your hard-earned money on inventory to flip. So without further ado, we're gonna jump in and talk about these 20 brands that sell, in terms of quantity, every single month for us. All right, so here are the 20 brands that consistently sell for us month after month after month. We use Poshmark, Mercari, StockX, GOAT, and Facebook Marketplace as our primary places to resell shoes. The first brand is Nike. That should go without saying. It's one of the top brands around the world. We find a lot of Nike in the thrifts, and obviously we sell a lot. LL Bean, it's a Maine-based brand, but it's a global brand. We find a ton because we're in New England. LL Bean is number 2. So Nike, LL Bean. New Balance, great running shoes. Asics, Adidas, Brooks, Converse, Merrell. Now again, when you are sourcing this inventory, just because you find it doesn't mean it's automatically gonna sell. You always wanna check the comps on the marketplace you're using. If you don't know, each and every single pair of shoes has a different value on different marketplaces. You also want to make sure that the condition is as good as possible. No rips or tears, no funky smell, original insoles, always triple check. So after Merrell, Puma is another very good brand. Vans, Dansko, Timberland, Reebok, and I'm sure you've heard of a lot of these, but sometimes we see people passing over some of these brands, and we have found them month after month to be profitable. After Reebok, Skechers. We sell a ton of Skechers. If you want to narrow it down even more, Skechers Shape Up sell very, very well for us. After Skechers, Sorel. We mostly find a lot of winter Sorel boots, but they have a bunch of different types of footwear. After Sorel, Under Armour, Keen, UGG, Saucony, and the 20th brand that you should keep an eye out for are Doc Martens. If you guys have any questions about any of those brands, if you have any questions about high volume thrifts, please jump into the comments below. We really enjoy sharing what's working for us so that you guys can leapfrog some of the mistakes that we have made and get closer to consistent wins. People reach out to us all the time and they say, why are you sharing all this information? You're creating more competition for yourselves. Believe me, we've been doing this for almost 3 years straight, sharing every single thing that we do and how we do it, and our business has continued to grow and continued to grow. And that is because there is enough inventory. There are enough marketplaces. There's enough room for all of us to get our piece of the pie. And the reality is 90+% of the people that watch this video are not gonna go out and put in the work. So if you are someone who wants to put in the work and get the results that we are getting, or even more, or even a piece of the pie, it is absolutely possible, and we're here to answer any and all questions that you may have. Now, those were 20 BOLOS brands that sell well for us. There's hundreds and hundreds of profitable brands. So if you come across something that you think might be profitable, always, always, always check comps. Check the completed sales of that brand in that condition on the marketplaces you are using. Until the next video, we hope you enjoy each and every single step.